Hi everybody, Sean Holsinger here again for HolsingersFlyShop.com. Today I'm going to tie a pattern that I really like. It's a blue-winged olive pattern. It's a nymph. Tying it with the lively legs again, showing you a couple different ways to tie patterns with the lively legs now. Really cool looking pattern. I'm tying it, the first thing I'm going to tie it on is a size 14 or 16. I'm using the 14 in the video to get it a little bit bigger. So it make it a little easier to see. But I would tie them in 16s too. And tying on a size 14, 11, 20 scud hook. The reason I'm tying, you could tie it on a straight hook too. I just like the curvature, the natural body lines of the scud hook to give it a little bit more body. Tying it with 7/64 green caddis bead, chartreuse brassy wire. Of course, I'll have green thread. The next thing I'm going to add is a pheasant tail and dyed Highlander green. I'm going to take and cut about 5 or 6 strands of that off, okay? And we're going to do it just like a pheasant tail. We're going to tie them down. I want to get my thread back by the bend of the hook like it is here, using the tips of it to be my tail. I'm not going to make a big tail with it, 3/4 the length of the body maybe at the most, not very long. Gonna wrap it down back here, trying to keep it back towards the bend, and wrap it back there to where I have that wire, as you see. Okay, and then we're gonna pull this back over to get it back to the back, and then we're just gonna wrap this up about halfway. You see, I stopped about halfway up the hook. I want lots of room up here at the head. Now, I'm going to wrap my pheasant tail on. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap the pheasant tail underneath the hook to start. And I'm going to wrap that up to where I stopped my thread at. And just continue to wrap it up. Once you don't hit your hook there, hook sharp, it'll cut your pheasant tail fibers. Once I get that up there halfway, I'm just going to tie it off. Okay, now the pheasant tail, the fibers are pretty weak. Okay, you can tear them off. That's how weak they are. So, to lock them into place, I started out by wrapping underneath the hook. I'm going to wrap over the hook with my wire to lock it into place. And this will keep your pheasant tail, when it gets tore up by a fish or whatever, this will keep it from unwinding. So I'm going to make about 4 wraps up there. Maybe 3 if you're tying on a 16. Keep them tight so you have the segmenting, but and then I'm just going to twist that off. Next thing I'm going to use is my pearl mylar, and this is what we're going to make our flashback out of. So I'm just going to cut a strip of this off. And I cut this long and just keep using the same piece over and over again. So just tie it down on top. These are all tied down there. The next thing we're going to put on is a set of lively legs. Okay, these are olive colored lively legs. Let me get it in my hand there, right? This is an olive colored lively leg. The extra small is the size on these. Now, you saw in my last video with my little black stonefly, I used the back 2 on it. I was tying that on a bigger sized hook. I tied it on a size 12, and I was using the extra small. Bump up to the small, use the front 2 legs on it is what I should have done, but I didn't have any with me. So what I'm doing here is I'm going to use the front 2 legs on this one, because as you see, if I used all 3 on this small on a 14, that's the whole length of the hook. That's not going to work. So we're only going to put 2 legs on this, and we're going to do it with the front 2. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start this center, put it off to the side a little bit, so as I wrap it down, it's going to pull it up on top. Okay, I'm going to lay it like 3/4 of the way on the side, and you see I'm keeping my front legs back from the bead a little bit, because this is actually going to pull a little bit forward, and so I want it to, as it pulls up there, I want to give it room to go there. I'm going to put a loose loop down in the middle. And since that first video I've tied a lot more with these lively legs, and have learned how to use them a lot better, and and I do it a little bit differently now. I'm going to put a loose loop like in the middle ones behind it, and then I'm going to crisscross lightly. I'm not pulling it real tight until I get it on there good, because if you pull it tight, it's going to spin it around the hook. So you're just kind of loosely putting them on there and crisscrossing them into place. Okay, and then once I get them on there, then I'm going to cut my tags off. And the main problem I had cutting the tags off is cutting the other legs off. But there you can see how I got it. I got to cut the front off. You can see how now I have it laying on top of the, right in the middle. By putting it loosely, I didn't roll them around the side or anything. They're laying right on top where they need to be. So just be loose with it and crisscross to hold them into place. Now the next thing, I got a new product that I got into the shop here. We're going to be starting to carry this now. It's high tack swax, it's called, from Loon. I really like this stuff for what I'm about to do here. Going to loosen up my line and put some of this wax on my line. You often, if you watch my videos, I don't often use a lot of wax, but this dubbing, I really like the looks of this dubbing, the Triloboantron dubbing from Nature Spirit. And the problem with it is it doesn't dub on there always the best. With this wax is really tacky and it sticks on really, really well. And like especially the end, like usually I just wet it with my fingers and rub it on, but when you get back to the back of your dubbing, it kind of tends to come unfrayed. With this tacky wax, that doesn't happen. So just gonna dub that on there, and then the same thing here. I'm gonna loosely, not loose, I'm gonna give it some pressure, but I'm gonna weave around those legs, you know, crisscrossing and in front of and behind of, just covering this whole hook with the dubbing. And it's always the front one farthest away from me that always wants to turn on me, but I did pretty good this time. And then once I get that all dubbed down, you can see I got it all covered on top here. All I'm going to do is pull my mylar over the top. And wrap it down tight. Just pull it down into place there. Make about 3 wraps. And I pull it back and snip it off. Another wrap or 2, and then I whip finish. I'm just going to whip finish this right behind the bead. I like to put 2 on. I don't usually glue when I have whip finish, especially if I'm tying for myself. Just make sure I got it tied down tight. If the knot doesn't hold real well, then I'll come in with a little bit of glue. Okay, now that I got the whip finish on there, the last thing I want to do is I want to take and I want to put some UV clear fly finish in the thick on the back here to make the shell back. Now one thing I want to do is I want to take and I want to like press the legs down and take the fibers from that Triloboantron there that we use from Nature Spirit, take and peel that down out of the way, and that'll make a little bit cleaner shell back whenever I put this thick glue on. Sometimes when you put this on, that glue will hit that antron and it'll kind of stand up a little bit and not make a nice smooth back. That'll help if you get it down out of the way. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this right up over the head, and yeah, I don't usually, a lot of times if I'm tying for myself to go fishing, I don't always glue, but since I got the glue out, I may as well hit it over top of my thread. So just put some glue on top of it, hit it with the UV light, and dries instantly. Love this stuff. It's a great looking pattern. As you can see, there's lively legs, really make it look realistic. Lots of olive stuff in the water around my area. This is going to be a killer pattern, I'm sure. Can't wait to get it on the water. Thanks again for watching. As always, this material found in this video, you can find it at our shop at holsingersflyshop.com. I'm Sean Holsinger, and please subscribe to my channel and check back often for new videos.